into this, to the secrets of marriage. We started this earlier before, but we're gonna jump into it again, and we're gonna really dive deeper into the specifics of the benefits of marriage based on the book yeah, Iha Ulum Eddin by Imam Ghazali. But no, let's just jump into it and see where we land with this wisdom that we may get or may not. But let's just do it. Now, benefits of marriage. There's a few of these, but let's just dig into it. Let's chop it up. Okay. There are 5 benefits of marriage: to have children, 1; 2, to control sexual passion, 3, to find peace of mind, 4, to increase divine service, and 5, to get rewards of duties to family. All right. So 1, to have children. This is the root for which marriage is contracted. The object is to preserve dynasty and the earth not exist without men. 4 objects are fulfilled in having children. Increase of mankind. The love of the Prophet is revealed by increasing his followers. See, after death, the prayers of religious children are sought. So that's crazy. To be able to have children that are going to pray for you after you're gone is huge benefit to marriage, and to have children, of course. D, if the issues die before death, their intercession is sought. First object is very subtle and not within easy comprehension of man. It is a natural truth, and the following it is its proof. Take, for instance, that an owner of land handed over the seeds of crops and instruments of cultivation to a servant, and gave servants. Take, for instance, that an owner of land handed over the seeds of crops and instruments of cultivation. The servant did not cultivate it, kept the instruments useless, and destroyed the seeds. It is clear that he becomes then an object of wrath of the master. Similarly, God created man and woman. He created life, germ. Hey, Mike King, what's up, man? We're just getting into the benefits of marriage out here. So, benefits of marriage, just to do a quick review, there are 5 benefits of marriage. To have children, of course, no-brainer. 2, control sexual passion. Yeah, we don't want to be sleeping around. That's how AIDS happened. To find peace of mind, to increase divine service, and to get reward of duties to family. Now, we're just in the children's part. Take, for instance, an owner of the land hands over the seeds of crops and instruments of cultivation to a servant and gave him also the land of cultivation. The servant did not cultivate it and kept the instruments useless and destroyed the seeds. It is clear that he becomes an object of wrath of the master. Similarly, God created man and woman. He created life, germ for production of. Hey Jack, little chart. He created life of a woman, the uterus in the fertile field, and the male organ and the female organ and instruments of cultivation. He also created sexual passion in the male and female for creating a child by using instruments of their organs. These prove the objects of God. The Prophet also clearly proved it by saying, "Marry and keep dynasty." He also does not marry. He does also He who does not marry destroys the seeds and keeps the instruments useless and idle and goes against the object of God. For this reason, to kill the child and to bury it alive have been prohibited. The reason prohibited. The question may be asked that when the object of God is to preserve dynasty, then why he prescribed to destruction by death? Life and death, though opposed to each other, are within the will of God, as and love and hatred, though opposed to each other, are within God's will. God says he does not love infidelity for his servants. There is in a hadith Qudsi that God said, I feel no greater grief for anything than to take the life of my Muslim servants. He considers death as disliking to him, and I don't like to trouble him. There is no escape from death. God says, I have prescribed death upon you. He says, I've created life and death, so the words of God, I have fixed death upon you, and have done, and I don't wish to inflict trouble on him. Those two verses are not opposed to each other, but they express truth. This is the will of God, to create more. The second object of children, or the benefit of having children, is by marriage. Object of children, by marriage, love is expressed toward the Prophet, and efforts are made to increase the followers, as he will boast for the increased number of his followers on the day on the resurrection day. The Prophet said, a prison in a corner of a house is better than a childless woman. Wow. Okay, that's crazy. Because especially since we're looking at a lot of less children being made in like the West and Europe and like places like South Korea, they actually have an epidemic of mass proportion of not enough children making, not enough baby making. He said, among your women, a lovely woman producing many children is better. He said, hold up. He said, let's look at this. An ugly woman with children is better than a beautiful woman with having no children. It appears from the above traditions that the object of marriage is to get children and not only to have satisfaction of sexual passion. Holy, take that in, man. So basically, an ugly woman with children is better than a beautiful woman having no children. What kind of world are we living in today? We're living in the OnlyFans era. Are we not? Tell me, are we not living in the OnlyFans era of basically women that are putting themselves out there, but no children to put their names upon, to have their DNAs spread upon, just men watching women day by day, no children. That's the kind of world we live in today. Damn, man, that's crazy, man. Okay. Third object of children. If anybody leaves a religious son or daughter, he or she may pray for his or her dead parents. There is in hadith that actions of a man end by death except for 3 actions. He mentioned among them a religious issue, when meaning a religious child. The Prophet said, the invocations are presented like the layers of light to a dead man. If an issue is religious, his parents get the reward of his pious actions and invocations, as he is the earnings of his parents. But his parents are not punished if his sins, as nobody bears the burden of another. That's actually glorious when you think about it. The fact that we get our children's rewards and good deeds, but we do not get our children's sins. That's a beautiful thing. That's a mercy from God when you think about that. Really a mercy from God. Whoever said that God is unjust? God is merciful. God is truly merciful. Okay, let's keep going with this. Okay. If an issue is religious, his parents get rewards, yeah. But if, yeah, they don't get the. So God says, I will attach them to their issues and they will suffer no loss owing to their evil actions, but their good deeds will increase owing to the good deeds of their children. So basically, this gives us more intention, more, I guess, reason to raise children who are pious and praying for us after we're gone, because that's just going to give us more boost on the afterlife, pretty much. All right, what else? Fourth object of children. If a child dies before his father or mother, he will make intercession for his father or mother. The prophet said, a child will carry its parents towards paradise. There is in another hadith, he will draw his parents as I draw your cloth. He said, it will be said to the child, enter paradise. He will go to the door of paradise, and in an angry mood, I will not enter paradise without my parents. It will then be said to him, admit his parents along with him in paradise. There is another hadith. But hold up, before we go to the other hadith, think about that for a second. All right? The pain that a parent goes to when they lose their children. Like, we all know that it is not a normal cadence for a child to die before their parents. That is abnormal, correct? Does everyone agree with me on that? Now, the pain that a parent feels when they lose their child, that's immense, especially if they are a good parent that love their children. Now, God is telling us here that when that soul that passed away goes to heaven, goes to paradise, because, as we know, if a child passes away, they have no sins, they have no evil, so they will automatically go to paradise. That in itself is a mercy from God. Now, when that child goes to heaven, that child does not want to enter without their parents. SubhanAllah. So that pain that we deal with as a parent, losing our children, does not go without a reward in the afterlife, because we have children that are going to paradise that are going to be an intercession for us. SubhanAllah. Think about that for a second. We really think about that. For all the parents out there who have lost their children, that pain does not go without a reward, a true reward. That reward being that you're going to have children that go to paradise and that call upon you to enter paradise with you. SubhanAllah. Think about that, man. Really think about that. I don't know if we got any parents who lost their children out here, but it's really something beautiful to think about. Let's keep going. So there's a hadith here. There is another hadith. The children will be brought along with other men at that place of judgment. The angels will be said, take these children to paradise. They will be waiting at the door of paradise. They will be said, welcome to the Muslim children, and enter, and there is no account on you. They will say, where are our parents? The guard will reply, your parents are not like you. They have got sins and faults for which they will be summoned, and they will be called to account. Then they will make tremendous noise before paradise. God will say, what is this cry for? They will then disclose the above thing. God will say, leave them all so that they can take their parents to paradise. The Prophet said, whose two children preceded him will be safe from hell. Wow, subhanAllah, man, that's really deep. That's really deep. We should really reflect on that for a second, That these children of paradise, the children that die in this life, Think about all the children who were killed in Gaza, you know, all the children, and all the parents who were left without their kids. And the cries of those children will be heard in heaven. And when those parents are being held on the day of judgment to account for their sins, their kids, their dead children from this world will call upon them and say, we want our parents. That's crazy, you know. So I'm getting a little emotional reading that, but you know, to think that a parent's dead children will call upon them to heaven. They will cry to the level that God will hear their cries from before they want to enter heaven, and they will say that they don't want to enter heaven until they get their parents with them. That is something extraordinary, you know, when you think about it. That's really extraordinary. It's beautiful. The prophet said, He whose two children preceded him will be safe from hell. He said, God will admit, let's keep going from here, will admit out of his mercy one whose three issues have not attained puberty, predeceased him. He was asked, O messenger of God, if two of them predeceased. He said, even if two predeceased him. That means that as long as your children don't reach puberty and they pass away, then they can intercede for you on the day of judgment. They can they can cry for you to enter heaven with them. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? I have children, so I really think about that, you know, to lose your children and to think that they can call upon you on the day of judgment. That's something that you know, God is great at the end of the day, right? God is great. The rules that he puts upon this life and in the afterlife is greater and the most just, you know. The pain of this life, we cannot even like compare that to the justice that we will deal with on the day of judgment. You know, the pain that we deal with in this life will be accounted for, and the pain that we inflict on others in this life is going to be counted for. That is something to really think about, you know. And the pain that we allow to happen to others will be counted for, and the pain that others allow to happen upon us will be counted for. That is the justice of this life and the next. That is the justice of this life and the next. SubhanAllah. Second benefit of marriage. So we're finished with the children one part. Second benefit of marriage. It is to be safe from the devil, to satisfy lust and to save private parts. The Prophet said, if a man marries half of his religion is saved. Fear God for the remaining half. For the remaining half. The Prophet said, let one who is unable to marry fast. As fast for him is the means of controlling passion. The pleasure which lies in sexual intercourse is only an example of next worldly happiness. There is no benefit in a thing of which there is no pleasure. A minor boy will not get any pleasure from sexual intercourse, nor there is any benefit in it. A boy shall not find any taste in rain, nor there is any taste in it. God created pleasure of the world with this object, that if the people have pleasure, they will be eager to have lasting pleasure of the next world. To get this pleasure, divine service is necessary. The marriage is a means of saving one's self from oppression of sexual passion. Yeah, I mean, look, when you think about it, a lot of people do suffer from this, from sexual passion, lust, and all this stuff. And it can be like a prison for some people, right? Prison of passion, a prison of lust, and marriage is something that is a bit of you could say is a sanctuary from that. It's a protection from that. Because you can take out that sexual passion in a righteous way, in a true way, in a way that actually gives you more reward. So yeah, it's really something to think about for sure. Okay, let's keep going. Heart is the root of all action, of a traveler towards the next world. Hadrat Ibn Abbas said, "The worship of a man does not become perfect without divine service. God says that man has been created weak." Hazard Akrama and Mujahid explained that this man cannot be patient regarding women. That man cannot be patient regarding women. Faiz B. Nazi said, when the male organ of a man stands erect, 2/3 of his intellect goes away. Wow. That's crazy. God says, when there falls the darkness of night, seek refuge from its evils. Hazrat Ibn Abbas explains this by saying, seek refuge from the devil. When the male organ stands erect, the Prophet said, O God, I seek refuge to thee from the evil of my ears, my heart, and myself. He said, I pray to thee for purity of my mind and protection of my private parts. The sage Junaid said, sexual intercourse is as much necessary for me as food is necessary. The Prophet said, if the look of a man falls on any woman, let him turn towards himself and cohabit with his wife. In that case, his evil desire will go away. Hazrat Jabir reported that once the Prophet looked at a certain woman, he soon went to his wife Zainab and performed his necessity. Hazrat Jabir reported that once the Prophet looked at a certain woman, he soon went to his wife Zainab and performed his necessity. After that, he came out and said, if a woman comes in front, she comes as a devil. If one of you sees a woman who pleases him, let him... Let's keep going from here. Let him come to his wife, as what is near the woman is also near his wife. The Prophet said, don't go to a woman in absence of her husband. Don't go to a woman in absence of her husband, as the devil runs through the veins like circulation of blood. We asked him, in this case also, in your case also? He said, in my case also, but God helped me over him, and he submitted to me. This means I have been saved from the machinations of the devil. Once a young man, Hazrat Ibn Abbas, Once a young man asked Hazrat Ibn Abbas, I am a young man, I have got no wife. I fear sin in most cases, and many times I take out semen by hand pollution. Wow, that's masturbation. I'm a young man, I have got no wife, I fear sin in most cases, and many a times I take out semen by hand pollution. Is there any sin in it? Hazrat Ibn Abbas turned his face to him and said, Alas, it is better to marry a slave than it. but it is better than fornication. So it's basically saying that masturbation is better than fornication, but marrying a slave girl is better than masturbation. Sexual passion is so strong in some men that one wife cannot satisfy them, so there is provisions of marrying 4 wives. Hazrat Ali took a wife 7 days after the death of Fatima. 7 days after the death. It is said that Hazrat Hassan took many wives, but more than 4 at a time, but not more than 4 at a time. The Prophet said to Hassan, "You have got in you my character and appearance." The Prophet said, "Hassan is from me and Hussein is from Ali." Wow. So basically, yeah, it is said that Hazrat Hassan took many wives and not more than 4 at a time. The Prophet said to Hassan, "You have got in you my character and appearance." The Prophet said, "Hassan is from me and Hussein is from Ali." Interesting. The Prophet said, "Hassan is from me and Hussein is from Ali." Some of the companions had 3 or 4 wives, and those who took 2 wives were many. Wow. Any thoughts on that? Okay. Third benefit of marriage. Marriage brings peace in mind, and there grows love between the couple. The peace of mind is necessary for divine service. God says He created you from a single person and created his mate from him, so that he may find consolation in her. Hazrat Ali said, "Give peace into mind as it becomes blind when it becomes disturbed." There is in hadith that there are special times for a wise man. He speaks secretly with his Lord at one time. He takes accounts of his actions at another time, and he remains busy with his food and drink at another time. In another narration, a wise man is not desirous except by 3 matters: to earn the livelihood of the next world, to earn the livelihood of this world, and to taste lawful things. To take taste of lawful things. The Prophet said there is effort in every action, and there is labor in every effort. He who takes labor goes towards my sunnah and guidance. The Prophet said on complaint to Gabriel, alayhi salam, that's the angel Gabriel, about the lessening of his sexual passion. He advised me to take harisa. The Prophet said, 3 things are dear to me among your what does this say? Among your earthly matters sent, woman and prayer. The latter is the doll of my eyes. This comfort is necessary for peace of mind. Interesting. So basically, what we're looking at here is the Prophet said on complaint to Jibril about the lessening of his sexual passion. He advised me to take harisa. Prophet said 3 things are dear to me among your earthly matters: scent, woman, and prayers. The latter is the doll of my eyes. Yeah, interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so that was peace of mind. That's part of marriage, getting peace of mind. Now, the fourth benefit of marriage. It's getting a little dark up in here, isn't it? Yeah, let's try to get like some more light in here. Let's see if this gets more. No, that makes it darker. Let's try to get some more light up in here. We'll read one more. What do you say? One more passage, one more part to this. A fourth. Yeah, let's read the fourth benefits of marriage. Leisure. Leisure is found for divine service. The wife lessens the duties of a man regarding cooking of food, spreading of bed, lessening of cleansing of utensils, and other duties of livelihood. Interesting. Leisure is found for divine service. The wife lessens the duties of a man regarding cooking. Yes, so she helps around, basically. That's what a wife should be doing. And of course, a husband should help as well. But essentially, we help each other, right? Like, if a wife is alone, she has to figure out a lot of things on her own as well. And same with a man. But when we're together, we kind of balance each other, right? The duties, okay, utensils, blah, blah, blah. A chaste and religious wife helps her husband in this manner. Suleiman Durrani said, "Oh, a religious wife does not only pertain to three things of enjoyment of the world, does not only pertain to three things of enjoyment of the world. Rather, such a woman is one of the instruments of the next world. She gives leisure to her husband for doing divine service by performing household duties and satisfying his sexual passion. The prophet said, 'Let one of you have a grateful heart, a remembering tongue, and a chaste wife, helping him for the next world.'" Hazrat Omar said, "Nothing better has been given to a man after faith than a virtuous wife. No wealth is compared to is as valuable to a man as a chaste wife. The Prophet said, 'I have been given superiority over Adam for two conducts. Adam's wife was his helper in a sinful act, but my wives are helpers in my religious affairs. The devil was disobedient to Adam, but he submitted to me, and he ordered me nothing but truth.'" Wow. Interesting. Are y'all taking this in or what? This is like really interesting stuff. Well, what do you guys say? One more, and then we'll do the harms of marriage, okay? So, fifth benefit of marriage. There are some duties arising out of marriage which are considered as divine service to divine service. To maintain family, to have patience at the character of conduct of the wife, to bear the hardships of family members, to try to do good to them, to show them the path of religion, to earn for them lawful things, and to educate the children. The Prophet said, one of a just ruler is better than a divine service of 70 years. To rule a family is no less a task than a king. He said, "Be careful, every one of you is a ruler, and every one of you will be asked about his subjects." The Prophet said, what a man spends for his family will be considered as an act of charity. Even if he lifts a morsel of food to the mouth of his wife, he will get such a waste of time to read these books. Dude, what the heck? What is up with that kind of negativity in here? I do not want that kind of negativity in here, okay? So please do not comment like that. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Even if he lifts a morsel of food to his wife, to the mouth of his wife, he will get rewards therefor. A learned man mentioned about his actions regarding his pilgrimage, jihad, and other good works. A learned man mentioned about his actions regarding his pilgrimage, jihad, and other good works to another learned man. The latter said, "You are far away in comparison with the religious acts of Abduls." Abduls are, wait, so jihad, blah, 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 blah. A learned man mentioned about his actions regarding his pilgrimage, jihad, and other good works to another learned man. The latter said, "You are far away in comparison with the religious acts of Abduls." He asked, "What are those?" He said, "Those are," drum roll please, blah, 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 blah. Those are lawful earnings and expense for family. The Prophet said, "He whose prayer is good, who has got a big family, whose prayer is good, who has got a big family, whose wealth is little, and who abstains from defaming the Muslims, will live in paradise with me like these two fingers." He said, God loves the poor man having a big family and refraining from begging. There is in another hadith that if the sins of the family members of a man become large, God tries them with therewith, that they may be expiations of his sins. A certain wise man said, "There is a certain sin of which there is no expiation except patience at the trouble of maintaining a family." Patience. There's a sin of which there's no expiation except patience at the trouble of maintaining a family. Prophet said, if a man gets three daughters, and he spends for their maintenance, God makes paradise sure for him, except one whose sin is not pardonable. Wow. So basically, having daughters is great. Yeah. There is a certain sin of which there's no expiation except patience of the trouble of maintaining a family. Interesting. The Prophet said, if a man has got three daughters, yeah, there's a certain sin of which SubhanAllah. I think that's it. We'll end it here, and then we're going to go into harms of marriage after this. So I think that's an important one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll end it here. Thank you for joining this stream. Alhamdulillah. I'm sorry. And we're going to continue later on this one. Harms of marriage. All right. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.